Flyneau Reads 49 Hours by ScribeOfRhapsody. Today we're on Chapter 7, Hours 9 to 12 of 49. My name's Amanda.
And I'm Chris.
And I'm currently hiding a burning hatred inside.
The question is that for me or the stuff we were just dealing with?
A little of both.
Good to know.
This is crossing a line, Crow spat, crouched by the body they'd found in the middle of the road as she checked his wallet. I was about to say chucked his wallet.
It's like picks up wallet, chucks it across the street. Why did you do that? We were trying to identify him. I don't know. It was an ugly wallet, okay?
Anyway, that's Nyx.
Damn right it is.
Nyx doesn't have an accent.
Sorry.
Nyx agreed, unclenching his fists so he could tap his comm.
Ulrich reporting. No sign of Scout. Why do we keep calling him Scotia? Sentia himself so far, but it looks like we've got a civilian casualty.
Just for Sentia, think sensual.
Funny, my brain just went to sexual.
That works too. A what? Libertus demanded. You sure, Nyx? Helena asked. The chattering silenced in an instant as Draudos' voice cut in.
Oh, douchebag. Report, Ulrich.
A civilian casualty, Captain. Gunshot.
A civilian casualty, Captain. Gunshot wound. Instantly fatal by the looks of it.
There was a long pause, enough for Nyx to almost wonder if the captain had heard him, and then a new, yet very familiar voice reached his ears. That's the king.
Ulrich, is there any chance that the body you found is one of the mercenaries in Lucian Ortaya?
Afraid not, your majesty. Crow stood, moving over to Nyx to show him what she was looking at. Victim's got a Lucian license and several-year-old picture of him with his wife and kid in front of the Rogue Queen statue. Nyx sighed sadly at the well-worn photo before turning his attention to the license.
His name is Andres Forte. Though that's about all we can tell about him. Doesn't have a business card or anything. Let us worry about who he is. You two get back to your mission.
Draudos instructed.
Fine, Sentia. On it, sir.
Gladio forced his knee to still so he wouldn't split the coffee cup? So he wouldn't spill the coffee cup he'd just refilled for about the 7th time. Somehow he felt exhausted and hyper at the same time. Was this what it felt like to be Ignis? Never mind, he just had needed to wait patiently for his dad and the king to be done talking, and he needed to stop fidgeting. Wait, was this what it like, I can't English today. Was this what it was like to be Prompto?
I want the model entirely closed down until every inch of it has been scoured, and I want whatever information can be found on this Loki.
King Regis ordered some Crown's Guard Gladio didn't recognize. Understood, Saya. The man scampered off, leaving the king and his shield alone in the hallway. Gladio set his coffee down, lunging out of his seat.
Your Majesty?
The king looked exhausted as he turned to face him.
Yes, Gladius?
Gladiolus. Gladio squared his shoulders, trying to ignore the way he could practically feel the coffee buzzing in his veins.
Concerning Nod, was there anything you needed me to do?
He almost regretted asking the question with how the king looked like another 100 pounds had been added to his shoulders. Gladio empathized. Telling Noct about this was not going to be easy. The king sighed.
What time is it? What's the time, sorry? 7:15.
Gladio's father replied. The king nodded.
Noctis will likely won't awaken for another few hours.
Gladio couldn't resist a slight snort.
Without Ignis to wake him up, it will be well past 10.
The king nodded again.
I'll send someone to his apartment around that time to bring him here, though I do hope we'll be able to resolve this matter by then.
Ooh, I'm really proud of a part coming up.
Okay.
I did really good. Buzz, chirp, chirp, chirp.
You always do good.
Aw, thank you. Noctis groaned, rolling away from the sound and snuggling further into his pillow. Ignis hadn't come to wake him up yet, so there was no reason he needed to be out of bed this early. Buzz, chirp, 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 chirp. Buzz, chirp, 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 chirp. Buzz, chirp, 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 chirp. Who the hell was texting him this early anyways? If Specs hadn't gotten him out, it couldn't be past 7. Noctis groaned louder, blindly feeling around for one of his spare pillows and then clapping it over his ear. It muffled the sounds until they finally stopped and he dozed off again. Buzz, chirp, 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 chirp.
The thing is, we've all done this.
Yo. Buzz, chirp,
I did
chirp,
this morning when you started texting me.
Yep. I was going buzz, chirp, chirp, chirp at you. Buzz, chirp, chirp. Buzz, chirp. Buzz. 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 Buzz, chirp, 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 chirp. Noctis threw the pillow off. What the hell? He rolled and dragged himself to the edge of the bed so he could reach his pillow. He was tempted
his phone.
to so his whoops. He rolled and dragged himself to the edge of the bed so he could reach his phone. He was tempted to hurl it into the wall, but he really didn't want that lecture from Ignis, so he unplugged it instead and squinted briefly at the notification. Look! I made a phone!
Chocobo!
Chocobo! Prompto. Dude, where are you? Did you die? Please don't leave me alone in this awful place. Seriously, bro, you sick? Knocked. 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 Knocked! Answer me! Chocobo. 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 Chocobo.
The thing is, I woke up this morning to find on my phone, it's like, 3 Discord messages. Okay. Chris, wake up. I'm bored.
Pretty much. Noctis sighed. Really? Yeah, Prompto was an early bird, but he didn't usually text Noct until he knew he'd be up, which was... Noctis's eyes bulged as they locked onto the phone's tiny clock numbers. 8:53! Noctis swore, tossing his phone on the bed as he struggled to untangle himself from the sheets. Managing to get 1 foot free, he hopped towards the bathroom. I just imagine him hopping with, like, his sheets all coming with him.
The thing is, I once woke up and I somehow managed to put myself in a complete sheet cocoon. And it was when I was moving, and my sister wakes up to see me wiggling around. It's like, Christopher, what did you do? I don't know. I woke up like this. Get me out!
That's funny. Dragging the sheets halfway across the room before it released his other leg. Seriously, what was Ignis playing at? What had Noct done this time? He'd actually been keeping up with his studies and keeping his apartment fairly clean for weeks now. It couldn't be about the dance lessons, could it? Yeah, Noct had stepped on his advisor's foot a few times, but did that really warrant a punishment on this scale? Those were accidental, and Ignis knew it. Noct continued racking his brain for what he could have possibly done to piss Ignis off badly enough for him to completely ditch him like this. He still had nothing to come to mind by the time he was done with the world's fastest shower. I just imagine him going in, going like, shower, done. Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. I'm just picturing him trying to, just taking a whole bunch of you don't need water to get rid of it soap and just washing his body that way.
Yeah, that'd be efficient, but who knows if they have that stuff in where they live.
Just start using ice and water magicka essentially, and just doing a shower that way.
Yeah. summons what's his name to give him a shower.
Mm-hmm.
Was this a test, maybe? Was Ignis trying to see what he'd do if he woke up to an emergency like this? Well, if it was, Ignis would probably lecture him about looking like a slob more than being a few minutes later when he was already late. So Noctis spared a second to gel his hair.
Wait, is he...
So it looked... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was thinking for a second. My brain, when you said gel, the first thing my brain went was Tails, and then the second place my brain went is, oh my god, he would wash him, summon the water guy to wash him, and then he'd summon Ifrit to dry him off.
Yeah. That'd be funny. So it looked way closer to the wet drog and drowned rat categories. Whatever. He did not have time to worry about it. Ignis was probably waiting downstairs in the car, ready to inspect how he handled the morning alone. Oh yeah, Noctis was already bracing himself for the lecture that would undoubtedly last all the way to school. Great.
He's gonna feel like an ass for this.
Yeah! Trying to avoid a lecture about nutrition as well, Noct grabbed a protein bar on his way out. He's learning. Noctis such a good boy. He's learning so well.
He's learning the same way I learn, just avoiding getting a lecture about it.
Pretty much. Stuffing it in his bag and barely even getting his shirt and jacket on by the time he was out there. Ignis was not waiting in the car. There was no car.
Oh, come on, Specs.
Noctis yelled to thin air. He was going to make him walk to school? Yeah, because that fell in with all the safety lectures. Noct heaved a sigh. There were probably like a dozen glaives shadowing him, plus Gladio. Well, if that's the case, they were going to have to keep up, because he was already late enough. Magic buzzed through his veins, waking him up a lot more as he started warping through the cold morning air. Jeez, it was freezing out here. Was he going to get to wear a scarf lecture after this, too? It didn't take him long before he had to ease off the warping and run for a while, leaving him wheezing fairly quickly. How did Prompto do this in the winter?
Nothing I did can possibly deserve this.
Noct huffed out. He honestly felt like throwing up by the time the school was in sight. His head was swimming from the warping, his lungs were rebelling against the cold, and his stomach was twisted from both of those plus the lack of anything in it. Oh, he bet Gladio was behind this somehow too. Probably wanted to get him some training or something. Noct was going to kill both of them.
He was going to feel so bad.
I know! The last stretch was agony, but he managed to tear through the hallways and find the right classroom just as the door was closing. Oh, hell no. He didn't go through all this suffering to be late for this class, along with missing what he had so far. Before he even realized what he was doing, he was inside the classroom, sliding into his usual seat with a brew trail in his wake.
He warped into the classroom!
Yup. The teacher straight up jumped. Your Highness, are you well? Noct slouched over his desk, panting. It took him a moment, but he threw the teacher a thumbs up a couple seconds later. Laughter rippled through the class, and Noct sank deeper into his desk, face burning.
Who is this?
Good to see you're... Prompto, this is me.
Okay.
Good to see you're alive, buddy. Prompto tossed at him.
Wait a second. The hell Prompto was in was high school? I feel your pain.
Yeah.
I feel your pain.
Yup.
Shut up.
Noct grumbled. Noctis sighed a relief as he left the classroom. When his dad brought up him missing his first class today, Noctis was so not taking the blame for it. At least he'd made it to the second class. Prompto snickered at him, smacking him on the back as he joined him in the hallway. You okay there, buddy?
I'm fine.
Noct groused, pulling out his phone to shoot Ignis a text.
Thanks for the wake-up text. Apparently Ignis is pissed with me. Didn't even show up this morning.
What? Seriously? He totally ditched you? Prompto looked like he was trying very hard not to laugh, but he was at least attempting to be sympathetic. What did you do?
Why does it sound... Okay, I know you want to do Prompto, and I don't have a problem with that. He sounds like he's on hormone shots.
I'm sorry. I can't do guy voices, but Prompto is the highest pitched guy in the entire thing, so...
And I can't do high-pitched voices, so...
Yeah.
We're stuck at the impasse. I don't even know. Last night it was the usual good night, highness, yada yada yada. Then this morning he wasn't there.
Noctis frowned at his phone screen.
And now my text won't even go through. Did he block me? No, he crushed his phone with his foot.
Yeah. Whoa, dude. Hey, maybe it's because you don't know what you did wrong that he's making you think about it really hard.
Oh dear God.
What?
Nothing. For some odd reason I was thinking of Pronto was slightly stoned when he said that.
I'm sorry!
No, that had nothing to do with your voice. It's just the way the sentence looked. It looked like he was slightly stoned.
Okay.
Love you, Amanda.
I'm trying my best.
Yes, and you're doing a great job.
No, I'm not. I can narrate, but I can't voice act. Anyway, Noctis snorted.
Sounds like something you do. I'm gonna ask Gladio if he knows what's up. Gladio, right?
Nope, Nyx.
Ah. Pretty sure there's maps. Those maps don't have the answers to the universe in them. Amasita.
Gladio flinched out of his trance, looking up from the maps of the city he'd been scouring to find a glaive standing nearby with a plate of food in hand. Gladio was almost positive he was the same glaive that had reported the civilian's death earlier. It sounded like the same voice. Nyx? Yeah, Nyx Ulrich. He'd heard the name more than a few times around the Citadel. Gladio frowned.
Shouldn't you be in the field? Sorry, 1 second. Shouldn't you be in the field?
Ulrich gestured to the plate with the fork he had in his hand.
Most of us are already running on a lack of sleep, add a lack of food to that, and you're asking for someone to pass out in the field. I'm heading back out as soon as I'm done here. Right.
Made sense. As much as it would be nice for all the glaive to be searching for Ignis at all times, they were human too, and they didn't have the access to the coffee Gladio had, which was probably a good thing, actually. His father had confiscated his last cup. Ulrich moved over, joining him next to the table of maps as he inhaled the eggs he was eating. Despite the lack of manners... Despite the lack of manners, damn it, Ignis, he never would have even noticed the guy's manner if it weren't for him. Gladio appreciated that Ulrich was trying to get back out in the field as quickly as possible.
I wonder if they've doubled back to avoid us.
Gladio muttered.
Doubt it.
Ulrich traced his hand along one part of the map.
They can't afford to double back now that it's day. The longer this goes on, the more people are looking for Sentia's face on the public. As the public sees the news, it'll get harder and harder for them to move without being spotted from here on out. If they're smart and have the information, they're going to be looking for the most direct way out that has the least dense population. Sorry, excuse me. Or they're going to try and find a place to hole up until nightfall.
Gladio nodded.
Kind of curious which way they're going to go. Well, they've been pretty damn well informed so far. Should we be looking at a population map? Buzz, chirp, chirp, chirp.
Buzz, chirp, 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 chirp. Gladio fished out his phone instantly.
Not.
Oh no! Shit! Oh! I gave you the old version. I made a new version of this where I actually,
Added the phone?
Yeah, I added the phone, because before I didn't have the phone for this part, but all my work is going to waste.
Well, we still got to see the awesome phone part before, but yeah.
Yeah.
Can you please... Okay, are you saying this or am I?
You can say it, because it's not talking.
Can you please advise my advisor that this silent punishment thing would work a lot better if I knew what the hell I did that made him so disappointed in my existence? Unamused emoji.
Unamused emoji. Yeah.
Also, can you blame him for me skipping training today because run warping to school in the middle of winter got me plenty of exercise? Snowflake emoji, dizzy emoji, nauseated emoji.
Gladio swore, then raised his voice.
Your Majesty!
Noct frowned as his phone vibrated again in his pocket. Yeah, he'd texted between classes, but Gladio had to know he was at school right now. He was lucky the teacher hadn't noticed anything. Whatever, another 15 minutes and this class would be out. He could check his messages then. Or Gladio and a glaive could bust into the classroom at 7. The entire class jumped and the teacher cut off her lecture mid-sentence as the door was thrown open. For the 19th time that day, what the hell? The glaive zeroed in on Noctis instantly.
Your Highness, the king sent us to bring you to the Citadel. Oh,
Noctis
cool.
sent... What?
It's Nyx.
Yeah, Nyx went with him. Noctis sent Gladio a questioning look, dread pooling in his stomach. His dad never pulled him out of school before, and he sure as hell had never sent a glaive to escort him. Gladio's face was grim, his lips pressed into a firm line, and he looked like he hadn't slept at all recently.
Your father will explain when we get there. Okay.
He stood, grabbing his books. He muttered an apology to the teacher before glancing over his shoulder at Prompto.
Text you later, I guess.
Please, no. No more texting, please.
One chapter is entirely just text between the characters.
There is! There is a chapter that's all text between the characters, and I'm not looking forward to it. Wait, here, Noct. Prompto got up from his desk. I'll take your books.
Thanks.
This had to be bad. Really bad. End. Dun-dun. So what was your opinion on this chapter?
It was definitely an interesting chapter, and Noct is going to feel like a complete ass when he finds out.
Oh, I know. Noct is gonna be like, shit, I thought he was testing me or something.
Nope, he's in the middle of torture.
Yeah, well, he's not being tortured yet.
Yeah.
But no. So that was chapter 7 of 49 Hours by ScribeOfRhapsody. This was Flyneau, and we'll see you all in the next chapter.
Hope you enjoyed.
Goodbye.